Transmite en su canal de frecuencia modulada e estereofónica multiplex La Voz Radio desde New Haven, Connecticut al mundo.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us once again every Monday from 3 to 4 p.m. Primero vamos a hablar en inglés y a las 3:30 regresamos en español. And so with us today in our English portion, with Juntos Podemos, Together We Can, we are joined by some wonderful human beings representing Casa Otonal. I'll let them introduce themselves. But before we get to our very special guests, I wanted to highlight, we were just hearing a song from Las Cafeteras. ¿Y cómo se llama la canción? And the name of this...
Tiempos de Amor.
Oh, Tiempos de Amor is the name of the song, and it is translated Time of Love. And the songstress is saying, I would cross any river just to get to you, just to be with you. And when Las Cafeteras, they played yesterday New Haven Green live for the community, and my mom was there with me, and we were dancing, and they dedicated that night to our ancestors, all those who came before us. They dedicated to our grandparents, they dedicated to our mothers, and they dedicated the night to the earth. It was beautiful, and it really highlights the importance of love and family, and we owe a lot to those who birthed us into this world. You know, doesn't matter if you got along or not. The fact is you're alive. And then it's such a blessing when you do get along with your parents. And, you know, as they age, getting older, how are we taking care of them? And something Las Cafeteras said last night, they said, you know, this whole issue around immigration, it's not political. It's about humanity, humankind. And the whole thing around political borders, where countries have set up a line that people cannot cross, but in the history of the Americas, people have traveled from one point to another, because it's the most natural thing to do, where if you had family on either side, you would just go and see them. Who would not do whatever is possible to be with loved ones? And unfortunately, because of certain crazy circumstances, which, you know, a lot of people do not recognize the role that our U.S. government has played, destabilizing many of the Latino home countries and outside of the United States. Many of the Latino home countries have been destabilized by U.S. foreign policy. And so while we're aiming to mitigate how many people cross the borders, it isn't about immigration law. It is, how are we going to stabilize what we took part in destabilizing? How are we going to support people to stay with their grandmothers where their family was born and be able to sustain and feed their children and their kids and not have to say goodbye to their mother? And unfortunately, we've had Latino elders who've had to say goodbye to their mothers, to their siblings, to where their grandfathers and grandmothers were from, because of rough times wherever they came from, whether it was Puerto Rico or Guatemala or Dominican Republic. And then they called New Haven home, sacrificing a lot so their kids could have a good future. That's the immigrant story. And then they've worked so hard. And you've found a beautiful statistic, but before we go there, let me introduce our guests. So if you'd like to start.
Sure. So I'm Leonora Rodriguez, and I am the board president of Casa Otonal Incorporated.
Thank you for joining us today, La Voz Hispana Radio at 103.5 FM. And thank you for taking on the helm as the board president, because the founding board, after how many decades retired?
Quite a number. And
close to 20 years now?
20
Yes,
years.
yes.
After 20 years, holding on, Casa Otonal strong.
Okay.
And now the two of you have the baton. That's quite the beautiful but very intense work baton. And if you'd like to introduce yourself too.
Thank you, Caprice. My name is Magali Cajigas, board member for now going on, I think, 3 or 4 years. And I've known Casa Otonal because I've born and raised here in New Haven and have known it all my life. It's pretty much an institution as far as I see it, a positive one. And it's one where even my parents who came here from Puerto Rico in the 70s knew of Casa Otonal as being that elderly housing place for older Puerto Ricans in the community. And now it's much more diverse and has a lot more to offer, and that's what we're hoping Leonora will talk about a little bit more today.
Great. And I want to put it into context. So, yes, the Latino population as a whole tend to be younger, but we have elderly. We actually have elderly.
Yep, we do.
And you have some very important stats in terms of overall context reality of many of our Latino elderly.
So in some of the statistics and in facts, you mentioned about them being younger. They're also less educated. You know, if you granted that a lot of them chose to raise their family. My mother being one who left school early. She was one of 13. And chose to assist her mom and dad by going out there and working as a seamstress. So she did not get to complete her high school diploma until she was 60, actually.
Wow.
And it took her a little bit time, but she wanted to raise her own family and make sure that we were in the right direction, my brothers and I. The other part is that they live in poverty. Our elderly Latino live in poverty more so than our counterparts, our American white counterparts. They are also less likely to receive Social Security benefits.
Less likely to receive.
Yeah. They're at about 80% that receive Social Security. We can imagine why some are not receiving. Some may have not worked in jobs that they were able to receive. So
Like how many Latinos today, people are not giving them, taking, wages out with a paycheck, but they might actually say, we'll pay you by cash.
Sure.
But then at the end, it shortfalls the capacity to sustain oneself when one gets older. And oftentimes it's not even minimum wage when that happens. And oftentimes people might even go without pay. We have an organization called Unidad Latina en Acción that fights for wage theft. Too often, this is historically what has happened to Latino community. And so now you have elderly where a less percentage of them are actually getting Social Security, even though they've worked
all their life.
all their life.
All their lives, from as young as they can remember.
Exactly.
The other thing I want to add in there is also healthcare benefits for our Latino elderly. It's not well stacked to their counterparts. A lot of time it's Vicks Vapor Rub.
Oh, my mom would do that.
Kind of taking care of some of those.
Oh,
aches
you
and
have a
pains.
cold? Vapor rub. You have a sprain? Sí,
Yeah.
Vaporub. Agarra el Vaporub.
Vicks arregla todo.
Exactly.
Vicks fixes everything.
But access to healthcare for a long time wasn't being able to go to a regular participating doctor, a PCP. It wasn't until most recently that you see a lot of these community clinics closer and closer in the neighborhoods that they live, that they can actually go and actually be seen. But I tell you, as many ailments as our senior Latinos have, they're strong. They're strong. They're very strong.
And so thank you for putting it into context, because, and then something else that you shared with me right before we started the show, also there's a lot of moving, transient, because of if rents go up, they have to move.
Sure,
and then what you just said around being able to access a primary care physician, that actually studies have shown if you don't have a health home, it can affect your health outcomes, because then if someone doesn't know you, doesn't know your status of health, and if shifts happen, they can't tell if they're just meeting you and a shift happened. So it does affect longevity and well-being. And so now we have Casa Otonal, which is a home.
Yes, it is.
Really stabilizing for elderly here in the community in New Haven. Can you tell me why Casa is so special on two levels? One is the systemically how Casa operates. Why is it so special? And then we'll get to some of the real juicy, heartwarming stories. But at systemic level, why is Casa so special?
I'll let you answer that part, the programs and things like that.
Well, we offer a lot of programs available to the community. This is in the Hill community, Hill section. I always call it community. And it allows the seniors there to be part of their community without, literally leaving. As a person ages in place, which is very important to be able to stay where home is for you. They have a sense of socialization. They have a sense of pride within where they live. And ultimately, we look at how they can help balance the community with the younger groups that are coming to the organization. We've had a long-standing history with working with children. We have I want to go right into heartwarming conversations. You see me pulling in there because that's what I like to do.
Oh, you know what? Just go there.
Mix it up.
Go there.
I know.
Go there.
Subject. It is what it is.
Yeah,
but,
perfect.
We have an after-school and summer program. Yeah, so we have intergenerational programs that have been with us since early 1990s.
Yes.
Intergenerational.
Yeah.
So you have a grandmother who may not be DNA grandmother of a young person, but they adopt each other. And especially if we talk about immigration, that separation from that long, extended family and support network, and here they're supporting each other.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So we may have had in the beginning a senior that was living in the community, but with little access to other peers, to support groups, and even just to the rest of the community. If they're in a second floor, third floor walk up, how are they getting down and being able to be independent? They can't. They were basically held up in their home.
Wow.
So when Casa came along, and the idea of having a community and its beginning foundation of doing something that has never been seen before, and really it's still very unique throughout the Northeast. They have
And so when you're
this
saying you had community folks saying we're going to establish a home for the elderly that is in the heart of the community, so they don't have to leave.
Yes.
They can maintain the relationships. They can maintain engaged in the community. And this is also meeting the requirements, federal requirements of what elderly housing should look like, which is a huge hurdle to have surpassed by the community leaders, meeting that really intense set of regulations, supervision, and it's been around now for how long?
42 years.
42 years of high standard quality housing for elderly, and you're saying it's beyond that, where the elderly are giving back to the community and supporting the young people. And the other part that I heard of Casa is in line with what you were saying is community run. So the elderly have a voice. The community has a voice. So what are some of the decisions that community run means?
Well, I know that for the years that I've been a board member, they do have a residence council. They have a residence group within Casa, which for me, the first time I came on board to Casa, I worked with the secretary of our group to help with their novenas,
which is
event before
Christmas
holiday.
and singing
Exactly,
and praying.
and it was such a beautiful thing to see that event come
in
together.
Spanish.
Exactly, in Espanol, in our language, as part of our
With
culture.
the music
And everything, and the seniors. Some of the seniors that were part of one family's group that actually sang some of the hymns, the songs, and then to sing aguinaldos, which is our Christmas music, traditional Christmas music in Puerto Rico. It was such a blessing to see that, to see the Residence Council in action. I mean, what other senior housing can you walk into during their almuerzo, their lunchtime, and actually see a group of gentlemen playing, dominoes in the corner and very happily playing? There's not many places like that in New Haven, so that's why it's such a, I want to call it a gem of the hill section that should be continue to be supported, and that's the most, if anything, I want to say that's the most impactful and meaningful message for today, is just to continue to have that support.
And I was talking to a friend who's Italian, I think also Irish American, and they were like, why not just partner with another organization with seniors to support and keep moving forward together? And I said, this whole thing on the residents actually have a voice and a vote is so significant that joining with another institution who has their own decision-making process, their own set of leaders, may not look like nor speak the same language of the residents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they were like, that's interesting. And I said, let me give you an example. In New Haven, we have a large Italian community. Imagine, and I've met Italian grandmas, and I know that tomato sauce is tomato sauce, and the kind you serve in a jar is not.
It's not at all.
It's like red water liquid with some texture. And to tell a grandmother, for the rest of your life, living in a home, we're going to serve you tomato sauce from a jar. Look, it's tasty. She will not eat. In fact, be pretty upset.
She'd hit you with a wooden spoon.
Yes, hit you with a wooden spoon.
Exactly.
And so, it's that kind of sensitivity and awareness to really make our elderly feel at home. And here we have this beautiful gem where they don't have to fight or hit anyone with a spoon to say, please feed me the way that I grew up with, the way that I love to share with my family. And so the struggle is far less because of the model that Casa Otonal has. And correct me if I'm wrong, is it the only elderly housing center that meets bilingual, bicultural needs in the way that it does, where it's community run in the country?
It is.
In the country. So we are so fortunate to have it. And but where we are now, after 40 years of existence, there's a transition. There were federal funds transition that happened. And how many elderly are living there now in Casa? Do you know?
So we have a little over 100
Wow.
in Casa Otonal housing.
Mm-hmm.
And the part I didn't mention was Casa Otonal, Casa Familia, excuse me, which has an additional 35 families.
35 families.
So, which was an addition to Casa Otonal housing, which was, I think it was established 2004 for, thank you, I was look back to Magali, to help support our families, so that if grandma is going to live, here, well, maybe her family needs a place that's close by.
Exactly.
Or whatever the dynamic is, that family's here and grandma can have her own place where she can have her own kitchen.
I just read an article that came out written by an archaeologist, and they said what they just realized will debunk the whole myth of when mankind was born. You had hunter-gatherers. The men risked their lives to protect the family and go hunt and kill animals and bring back food to feed the family. And then the woman stayed home, took care of the babies, and gathered, herbs, gathered maybe tubers under the ground and a few wild fruit that was out there. But the men gave the sustenance. They were the ones who held the family together. Archaeologist, I wish I knew the name of the article. It just said it was grandma.
But we've always known that. Right?
Exactly. And they said, in actuality, as soon as a second child was born, grandmothers helping raise the children where the men go out to hunt. 80% of the food that was consumed that provided calories and nutrition to the entire family came from the woman. And it was grandmother that was protecting the child, teaching them the values of community, teaching them the values of family, teaching them the importance of tradition and passing down, including how to prepare food. And so without grandmothers, humankind would not be where we are today. And so thank you for taking care of the grandmothers here in New Haven and being volunteers on the board. And before we have 4 more minutes left for our English portion, I want to ask, what can we do as a community, whoever's listening, to support Casa Otonal in this very delicate point in time with all of these transitions? And when transitions happen, major transitions happen in any institution, it's a very delicate balance where it could set forth a glorious next 10 decades, or it could actually collapse into itself, and it would be the end of something so beautiful that the community has held, now holding, over 100 families. And also honoring the grandmothers and grandfathers and the sacrifices they've done. How can the community step in now more than ever when you need the support? What can we do?
So one of our main things that we do is the programs for the community, and as I said, we have intergenerational programs. The need is really to support our programs, and I always joke with our board that there's always 3 ways to donate. Spend time with us, volunteer, help us with an event. That 1 hour or whatever weekend or whatever it might be can actually really help this organization. We are at this point primarily volunteer based. We have one staff that is our cook, that provides the nutritious meals for our seniors through our lunch program that is authentic can be. He's a fantastic cook. He's great. Israel.
Wow.
And we have one person who works in the office, Diana, who is fabulous as well. But that's the extent of our staff, and the rest of us, we dedicate our time and our energy, to just try to be there and support the program. So in terms of program support, if you have skills, you have a talent, you want to teach, you want to join us for something, we have we offer an after school and a summer program. We're looking for someone who could either volunteer their time or offer assistance some way for our summer youth program. A little story I'm going to say real quick in the 4 minutes is...
Yes, I want to chime in too.
You'll chime in? Okay,
Yeah,
she's going to chime in.
Go for it.
Is that we had a need in our community center. We had little squirrels that came in through the ceiling. It was pitter-pattering everywhere, and we realized we had to replace a board from the outside. So Linda Cantor had contacted someone who contacted someone who contacted someone who brought us to this person who told us originally the cost. And when we received the bill, it was $0. And I called him. I said, this must have been a mistake. He said, it's not a mistake. I was a kid in your after school and summer program, and I own a business. And if I can at least do this for Casa, at very least, let me do this. And I had tears of joy. It was just an amazing moment. So I know these programs are there, and they're helping not just that moment, but generations to create new businesses and hope for people and just get them going.
That story alone just says a testament of that's a return on investment for
Absolutely.
anyone who supports Casa Otonal. Yeah. My only piece that I want to chime in on is that Casa Otonal needs new board members.
Absolutely.
We need individuals from the community, whether you're retired, whether you're, let's say, in a graduate program, individuals who want to be invested in New Haven. Sure. You don't have to be Latino to be Absolutely. Part of our board. Yeah. We're looking to diversify. We want individuals with that background, life and work experience that can help us to continue promoting Casa Otonal. We don't want to do a merger. We don't want to do any of that because we don't want to lose our identity. La identidad de Casa Otonal is everything
and
to
being
us.
able to truly have the flexibility to meet the needs of the elderly, which in Spanish, with the food that they grew up with, and that nutritious value as well. So they have longevity and happy lives. And so the chef, is he paid through donations?
Well, we would need additional donations and donors to help support his wage. Yeah. We're at a point that we really our operational
funding is getting really low.
Yeah.
And so how can people donate on behalf of the love of the grandmothers and the fact that they were the ones that helped humanity thrive?
They can always contact directly, go onto our Facebook page. Hopefully we have some links. We also have a couple of ways to donate in terms of like not a PayPal, but it's a GiveGab that we've partnered up with.
GiveGab. And so we're going to post it on our Facebook Live video, which you can find us at Facebook Live, La Voz Hispana CT. We'll be back in Spanish. Thank you.
En Atlanta les informa Yemile Castejón. La guerrilla del Ejército de Liberación Nacional, el ELN, anunció hoy una nueva suspensión de todas sus actividades por un periodo de 5 días con motivo de la segunda vuelta de las elecciones presidenciales que se celebrarán el próximo 17 de junio en Colombia. El ELN hizo el anuncio en un editorial de su revista Insurrección con la finalidad de facilitar la participación de los colombianos y las colombianas en la segunda vuelta de las elecciones. El presidente de la Federación Internacional de la Cruz Roja, Francesco Roca, dijo que cualquier decisión política que pone en riesgo la vida de las personas es inaceptable. Esto en referencia a los 629 inmigrantes a bordo del Aquarius que finalmente acogerá a España tras el rechazo de Italia y Malta. Roca, en un comunicado, celebró el gesto del gobierno de España, a la vez que advirtió que el mundo necesita una solución urgente y sostenible a esta crisis que está empeorando. En unas horas se llevará a cabo en Singapur la cumbre entre el presidente de Estados Unidos, Donald Trump, y el líder supremo de Corea del Norte, Kim Jong-un. El secretario de Estado, Mike Pompeo, dijo que el objetivo de Estados Unidos en este encuentro sigue siendo la completa y verificable desnuclearización norcoreana. Pompeo aclaró que las sanciones contra Pyongyang se mantendrán hasta que se desmantele su programa de armas nucleares. Les informó Yemile Castejón, somos CNN en español.
Este espacio es auspiciado por Seguros de Vida para cubrir gastos funerales. Agentes Miguel Rivera y Lidia Rodríguez. 413-317-0043 y 413-275-4050.
Transmite en su canal de frecuencia modulada estereofónica multiplex La Voz Radio desde New Haven, Connecticut al mundo.
Gracias por llegar con nosotros. Buenas tardes. Ahora vamos a estar con Juntos Podemos en español. Thank you for joining us in English. Now we'll switch over to Spanish. And again, to donate, please go on to the Facebook Live page. And to donate to Casa Otonal, it's at Casa Otonal Inc. Otonal. That's how you spell Otonal. Casaotonal. Y gracias, aquí tenemos hoy con nosotros dos compañeras de Casa Otonal. Son parte de la junta directiva y ahorita estamos escuchando las cafeteras que estaban con nosotros anoche aquí en el centro de New Haven en vivo, y muchas de las canciones de ellos honran a la lucha de los derechos de cada ser humano, incluyendo inmigrantes. Y ellos dedicaron a parte de la programación musical a nuestros ancestros, a nuestros padres, madres, abuelitos y abuelas, y a nuestra tierra querida por darnos la vida. Y esta canción, que no son la migra y siguen luchando contra leyes racistas. Y con nosotros tenemos dos luchadoras que representan Casa Otonal, que hace 40 años atrás la comunidad latina se unieron para poder tener un hogar para nuestros abuelitos y abuelas que tuvieron que inmigrar acá a New Haven, dejando sus seres queridos sin tener ese apoyo que se encuentra cuando uno se queda en donde uno nació. Es decir, se tuvieron que desconectar del apoyo que hubieran obtenido si se hubieran quedado en su país natal o comunidad natal. Y de ahí pasan los tiempos y se encontraban necesitados. Y Casa Otonal nació de esa gran necesidad. Y tenemos dos compañeras, si pueden decir su nombre y el rol que toman ahí en casa.
Soy Leonora Rodríguez,
miembro de la junta directiva y más la presidenta.
Sí.
Gracias por estar con nosotros hoy.
Magali Cajigas, parte de la directiva hace 3 años ya.
Bonito, muy bonito. Y los fundadores, que eran parte de la junta directiva, recién se acaban de retirar después de 20 años de mantener a Casa. Y ¿nos puedes explicar por qué Casa Otonal es tan especial, Magalis?
Para mí Casa Otonal es especial. Yo soy nacida y criada aquí en New Haven, en la sección del Hill. Mis padres vinieron aquí en los 70 desde Puerto Rico y yo siempre he conocido a Casa Otonal como un sitio para, yo diría, nuestros abuelitos y abuelitas estar y vivir feliz, tener actividades. Y es una parte bien grande de la comunidad, no solamente del Hill, pero yo digo del estado de Connecticut, por los sitios que yo he ido en trabajos que yo he tenido en el pasado y eventos de la comunidad, nunca he habido una agencia y un sitio como Casa Otonal.
Y no simplemente es una bendición tener casa acá en New Haven, Connecticut, pero en todo el país no se encuentra un modelo como Casa.
Exacto.
Porque la propia gente residentes tiene voz y voto en cómo es que Casa funciona. Es decir, a la hora de comer, puede ser que van a haber plátanos en la mesa.
Exacto.
Verdes o maduros. Todo depende de qué país uno es, pero hay plátanos. Y en otros sitios eso no es una realidad. Y si existen plátanos, tienen que luchar, tienen que abogar a la gerencia, los gerentes que manejan a donde viven los ancianos para que ofrecen lo que uno se acostumbró en comer en casa. Es decir, sin algo tan simple como plátanos o arroz.
Arroz con gandules.
Arroz con gandules. Y si eso no existe, uno en verdad nunca se va a sentir como en casa. Y eso en verdad impacta la salud. Y compañera, nos contaste algunos datos importantes de nuestra comunidad. Y quisiera decir, por ejemplo, de que nuestra comunidad, cuando envejecemos, tenemos menor oportunidad de tener ingresos de seguro social. También vivimos más años en pobreza cuando somos ancianos. También nos contó Magalis antes de Casa cómo era la situación de los ancianos aquí en New Haven.
Era un tiempo difícil. No, de lo que yo sé y de lo que mi papá me han contado, en el pasado aquí en New Haven no han visto ninguna organización así como Casa Otonal para los que vinieron de Puerto Rico. La mayoría de los puertorriqueños que vinieron de Puerto Rico a New Haven se establecieron en el Hill, se establecieron en Fairhaven, pero no hubo organizaciones así. La gente se encontraba en, como se decía, social clubs, vamos a decir como el Cuamo Social Club.
El club social.
Exacto. También en la iglesia, que aquí en New Haven la iglesia católica era bien grande para los grupos que vinieron de Puerto Rico para reunirse. Pero que no habían sitio para los ancianos, que se diga, hasta que empezaron el programa de Casa Otonal y el edificio y tener esos servicios. La otra cuestión que me gustaría decirles es que para nuestros ancianos de Puerto Rico y de otros pueblos aquí latinos, lo más difícil es si la persona no ha trabajado en el pasado. Por ejemplo, Nora dio el ejemplo durante el horario en inglés de mi suegra, que trabajó un tiempito antes de casarse, pero después de tener, yo creo que fue a mi esposo, fue que ella dejó de trabajar y solamente estaba el ingreso de mi suegro, ¿sabe? Ellos tuvieron suerte que pudieron seguir luchando y ella tiene suerte que ahora nos tiene a nosotros de apoyo, pero hay muchos ancianos hispanos que no tienen ese apoyo. So, al menos en la comunidad, yo diría aquí en New Haven, esos ancianos que viven en Casa Otonal nos tienen a nosotros que estamos luchando por ellos.
Y en nombre de todos los seres queridos que tal vez ya no están con nosotros.
Exacto.
Los ancianos que en verdad tienen un lugar especial en nuestros corazones. Y en el nombre de ellos, hoy, teniendo ustedes aquí, quisiera pedir a los que están escuchando que ponen a pensar cómo es que pueden ser parte de que Casa Otonal puede existir unas cuantas décadas más.
Exacto.
Porque en este momento Casa está en una transición, una etapa de transición bien importante, pero bien delicada. Es decir, los fundadores y la gente que han estado envueltos, ya ellos mismos son ancianos.
Exacto.
Ya después de 20 y pico años o más, es tiempo que pueden descansar, pero necesitamos ahora más gente que aportan manera en que Casa puede seguir adelante.
Sí, necesitamos ese apoyo para poder seguir apoyando a los ancianos, y no solamente a los ancianos que están viviendo en Casa Otonal, pero para mí seguir apoyando la comunidad en general, en el área donde está Casa Otonal. Ahora mismo tenemos un edificio al lado de la oficina de Casa Otonal Inc., que es Casa Familia, y es también el centro, el Community Center, el centro de la
comunitario.
comunidad. Exacto, que lo tenemos para la renta. Las personas pueden rentarlo para usarlo para fiestas, para, vamos a decir, entrenamiento de empleo, diferentes actividades. Eso es algo que en el área del Hill más ninguna otra organización tiene eso.
Y eso es
Solamente
una gran
nosotros.
necesidad en Hill.
Exacto.
Que no hay suficiente recursos para la comunidad, no hay suficiente lugar para que la comunidad se reúne, y tener Casa ahí en el centro, el corazón, a que la comunidad sepa que existe y pueden alquilar. También me contaron de que tienen programación para jóvenes,
Sí,
pero
sí.
para eso hay que recaudar fondos.
Exacto.
Y que un joven que ya no es joven donó reparación del techo. Y como, ¿cuánto hubiera costado eso?
Como 500 pesos.
Como 500 pesos. Porque él dijo, no voy a cobrarles. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué no cobró?
Porque era un niño en el programa de pues.
Él
de verano,
antes
y-
era un
sí,
niño.
Era un niño.
Y creció, ahora tiene su propio negocio,
Sí.
y de ahí donó. Entonces quisiéramos pedir a la comunidad si en el nombre de un ser querido, anciano, apoyar a nuestros ancianos más vulnerables, los quienes no tienen una hija como tú,
Exacto.
o una sobrina, una nieta, que por favor, si podemos también abrir nuestros corazones a los ancianos que no tienen familia, pero sí tienen comunidad, y la comunidad sí es una extensión de la familia.
Exacto.
Y ustedes tienen una página web, ¿verdad?
Sí, tenemos el website, estaba buscando el
Facebook.
El
por
Facebook.
sí, so sería Casa Otonal Incorporated, pero yo creo que si ponen Casa Otonal ya le debe salir la página en Facebook. También tenemos el número de teléfono de la oficina, que es el 203-773-9849, y así pueden hablar con la talentosa Diana, nuestra secretaria,
Muy bien.
que está ahí por unas pocas horas, pero al menos está en la oficina. Y también Leonora, nuestra presidenta, en sus días que no está en su trabajo full time, ella está ahí los viernes y los sábados.
Y me contaron, Leonora, ya tienes tu trabajo tiempo completo, trabajas fuerte, y de allí haces de todo en casa para mantener a casa, incluyendo ahí pintando paredes,
Sí.
para que sea un lugar lindo para la comunidad. Y también hay un señor, ¿cómo se llama el chef? Israel, que es el cocinero, tomando en cuenta comida nutritiva, más comida como hecho en casa, para cuidar así con un buen toque a nuestros ancianos de nuestra comunidad. Y es decir, si Casa no sale adelante, nunca más va a existir algo así, porque tuvieron que luchar con el gobierno federal, con el gobierno local, pasar unas cuantas papelerío, la burocracia, y fue una lucha fuerte, que hoy en día no se puede alcanzar lo que hicieron hace 40 años atrás. Entonces, en esta etapa, les pregunté, yo sé que no quieren pedir dinero, pero sería unos 50,000 por lo menos, que si Casa puede conseguir en, ¿qué es la temporada? ¿Un par de meses o un año?
Estamos tratar de pedir las donaciones lo más pronto posible para poder seguir adelante con los horarios de la oficina. Nuestra secretaria está ahí.
Muy bien. Y mi gente, que yo estuve bailando allí en el centro de el Green ayer.
Estuvo buenísimo.
Sí,
ayer.
buenísimo. Bailando sin parar ahí al lado con mi mamá. Y no sé si alguien quiere hacer una fiesta en nombre de Casa y donde gente dona dinero, pero hay gente que sabe cómo hacer unas buenas fiestas y de ahí pueden mandar el dinero a Casa. Entonces hay variedad de maneras en la cual nosotros podemos apoyar a nuestros ancianos. Y yo estaba pensando esta mañana, algo que yo no he hablado por la radio es, yo también hago trabajo de sanación alternativa. Y me entrené sanación alternativa de mis ancestros, que yo soy guatemalteca, maya, africana y europea. Esa es la combinación de mis ancestros. Y de el don de los mayas es trabajar con energía y apoyar en la sanación. Se parece un poco, no sé si la gente conoce acupuntura o Reiki.
Eso ya.
Se parece a Reiki.
Okay.
Y la persona está acostada y el que puede conseguir la mayoría de donación en un mes. ¿Qué fecha estamos hoy? El 19 de junio. El 11 de junio. Sí, estaba viendo ese reloj. Yo, ¿qué? Pues el 11 de junio. Para el 11 de julio, la persona que dona más pueden recargar fondos y de ahí una gran donación a Casa. Yo les hago de gratis trabajo energético de ancestros de los mayas. Oh, wow. Y uno nomás tiene que estar ahí acostado, ojos cerrados, y se tranquiliza mientras de ahí el trabajo de energía positiva hace lo que tiene que hacer.
Wow.
Eso no lo van a encontrar en ninguna otra parte. Y es la primera vez que anuncio eso en la radio, de que hago eso. Pero si se atreven, yo les ayudo a que encuentren un poquito más de paz, por lo menos en esos 45 minutos.
Okay. Wow, gracias.
De nada. Y no sé si desean compartir algo más.
Bueno, yo lo único que le gustaría informar también es que aunque estamos nosotros poco de fondo, todavía tratamos de hacer eventos para recaudar fondos con lo que podemos. Nora es bien inteligente para llamar y bregar con las personas y hablar y tratar de negociar precios y eso que es bien. Vamos a tener en junio 21, ¿fue que me dijiste? Sí. Junio 21 un viaje para los casinos. ¿Cuál casino vamos? ¿Foxwoods o Mohegan?
A Foxwoods.
Ok, a Foxwoods. Me gusta Mohegan mejor, pero está bien. Foxwoods será. Vamos a estar anunciando ese viaje para los casinos. Entonces también algo que yo organicé unos años atrás fue un torneo de dominó. Que nos funcionó bien y a los residentes le gustó participar. Veremos a ver si tratamos de organizar algo así también en el año ahora que viene.
Y para los quienes tienen un ser querido residente, también puede ser otra rifa
Oh, sí.
Sí, el que dona, la mayoría tienen un ser querido ahí. Yo voy y yo les hago también el trabajo de energía de los mayas con ellos también.
Oh, ok. Gracias por eso.
Sí, por lo menos puedo apoyar en eso.
Todito ayuda. Yo digo de todito ayuda.
Pues mil gracias por estar con nosotras hoy.
Gracias por tenernos.
Y juntos podemos, Together We Can, cada lunes entre las 3 y 4. También nos pueden encontrar por Facebook en vivo, La Voz Hispana CT. Y ahí también tendremos información en cómo se pueden comunicar con Casa, facebook.com, Casa Otonal INC, Casa Otonal Inc. Y también tiene un correo electrónico casaotonalnewhaven@gmail.com. Y me contaron también que andan buscando miembros para la...
Oh, sí. Si queremos poner esa información también allá afuera, que estamos buscando personas nuevas para la directiva, no tienen que ser personas latinas, solamente personas que son interesados en hacer cambios y ayudarnos a promover a Casa Otonal y seguir con la cultura y la importancia de apoyar a los ancianos que están en Casa Otonal y también apoyar el trabajo que estamos tratando de hacer en el área de New Haven, en el Hill. So, esas personas que quieren venir y ser parte de la directiva, ser voluntario o mandarnos información de alguien que conozcan que está interesado en hacer ese trabajo también, que nos busquen en Facebook, nos busquen en el website, Google us y llamen a la oficina.
Gracias. Y también quisiera decir de que por el momento Casa no tiene un director ejecutivo.
Exacto.
Porque para eso hay que recaudar fondos. Y los 50,000 que andan recaudando sería para poder tener un director ejecutivo o ejecutiva. Es decir, una organización que no tiene una persona que está pagada, es difícil recaudar fondos, es difícil escribir un documento pidiendo una propuesta, pidiendo fondos de fundaciones. Es difícil coordinar programación. Es decir, si uno quiere mantener programas para la comunidad, eventos, actividades positivas para nuestros jóvenes, hay que tener a alguien allí que puede conectar todos los recursos y coordinar quienes entran, quienes no, y todo eso. Hay que tener a alguien. Y por el momento ustedes están trabajando como esa persona, pero tienen su trabajo ya también fuera de Casa Otonal y son 100% voluntarias. Entonces desean tener una persona que puede recibir un salario más también el chef que cocina comida tan rica, también poder pagarle a él. Y mil gracias por todo lo que están haciendo para nuestra comunidad, para nuestras familias. Y por favor, yo sí tengo esperanzas de que gente van a escuchar esta programación y con cualquier cosa que podamos hacer, aquí estamos a la orden. Si quieren otro día llegar, bienvenidas acá en el show de Juntos Podemos, Together We Can.
Gracias. Thank you, Caprice, for having us. Gracias.
My pleasure.